back to another episode of the Missjudged podcast. Obviously, I'm your host, Alyssa, and my new co-host, Butters, is in the studio today. Guys, we're going to welcome back one of my favorite guests ever, Miss Anna Morgenstern.
Hi.
Anna is a famous matchmaker, guys, if you didn't know. Patty Stanger recognizes, okay, the queen has blessed you, I saw.
Yeah, that was a cool moment because I didn't know matchmaking was even a career choice or an industry before her. And even then, I didn't think it was a real job. But yeah, she's the inspiration behind what I do now.
Dude, Patty Stanger raised me, guys. That show where she was like, you're opening your legs and that's why nobody's marrying you. Like, she was the OG blunt dating advice
as a
queen.
Girl with curly hair. She just said, go straighten your hair to all the girls with curly hair. And honestly, I started straightening my hair after that.
Oh, same. Well, I was already out here doing the Afro struggle because, guys, life as an elder millennial was rough because you bitches have Dysons and Sharks to do your hair. And we were out here struggling with Conair straighteners. And that shit was mad ratchet.
It was also hours and hours to look like you got electrocuted, basically.
Yeah, like frizzy as fuck. And it had to sit there and heat up for like 30 minutes on your counter in the bathroom. You would set fire to your house.
I know.
Like, my poor hair, guys.
Kids today don't know.
These kids today, guys. I am excited to do this topic because this has been a topic in relationships I've been in. I know that this is the huge search term on the internet. And me and Anna have personally talked about this topic. And guys, today we're going to talk about, can you be 50-50 in your marriage and relationship? And what does it look like? We've not really talked about money and relationships on this show. So
I feel like we'll be 50-50 on what we agree and disagree.
Yeah, you guys, me and Anna have already talked about this. And we know that we actually see completely differently on this topic. So this will be a fun episode because it's fun to have a difference of opinions, okay? This show would be so fucking boring if I only had on people that agree with me.
Exactly.
Okay, so Anna, I'm just going to define quickly like what 50-50 is because people don't really understand. Oh my God, he fell asleep. Butters are so fucking cute. Okay, so 50-50 in a relationship is actually when you have equal contribution to the life that you're building together. So you're splitting everything, right? And you're kind of keeping track of it. You kind of have to.
There's different ways you can go about it.
Okay.
To make it feel fair.
Yeah.
And also, I also feel like being 50-50, it doesn't have to be exactly, I put in 1,000, you put in 1,000. For you, it could be 500 because someone's earning more.
Yeah.
I still feel like your contributions match where you are at that level, could still be considered 50-50 in some ways.
Yeah. You know what is so funny? Like, I agree with a lot of the things you just said. And then there's certain things where I'm like, no, women need to be on a lily pad being worshipped. Like, so we're going to go through it, guys. So, okay. What does I mean, you kind of just described this, but what does 50-50 like mean to you in your, because guys, as we discussed on the last episode with Anna, she's married.
Yeah, I'm still in my first year of marriage. So I think in some ways we're still figuring it out. But I always wanted to be a contributor to my relationship, my marriage. I never wanted to be someone that lacked control or power or authority in a relationship. And I've seen friends that have gone both ways where they gave up their careers, they're raising families, and they're very happy in their decisions, I think. But, their world is different. And I don't want to say it's smaller in some ways, bigger in other ways, but they have to ask their husbands for permission to buy certain things or to spend money in a certain way. And of course, I mean, it's, if you're making a big purchase, you have to consult your partner. But when the money really doesn't come from you, even more so. So I didn't want to ever be in a position where I didn't have authority in my relationship. That was something that's very important to me. And I've always been taught since a young child to work hard for everything you have and to, be educated and to work. And I just have that hustler in me. I'm never going to give up on my career. I just always wanted to be in a relationship where I felt like an equal partner. I didn't want anyone to have power over me or have a say on how I live or what I can and can't do. So for me, I always wanted to be an equal partner in a relationship, and the financial side of it, I mean, as part of it, but also the emotional support from someone. I didn't want to be married to someone that just only worked and made a ton of money and never got to see, wouldn't be an active father or participant in the family.
Yeah.
So there's other things that go into a 50-50 marriage. It's not just
100.
financial.
No, we're going to talk about all the things. So we're going to start with the financial, okay? Because that's my favorite topic. And I had this conversation in many relationships, and it ended a few. Because money is actually like, guys, money is the biggest reason for divorce. And it's, I would say, probably one of the biggest reasons why the marriage rate for millennials is lower than other generations, and probably contributing to the birth rate. Like, finance is a big thing. So personally, I feel in a relationship, and this is like a very crazy stance because I am so not this girl. Like, I'm not like a traditional trad wife kind of chick.
Sounds like you might be.
At all. However, I don't want to have to bear the burden of like carrying the weight of bills if I'm like pregnant and dealing with postpartum or dealing with an infant. I believe that you as women earn time off. Like, we go through hormonal changes, we ruin our bodies. I'm not even going to sit here and fucking say we don't. We're going to ruin our bodies. And we're going to be mentally fucked up after we push out a child for a second. Our hormones are unbalanced. Like, we're going through it, and we have to keep the baby alive.
What we're talking about is more than financial support.
Yeah.
It's also emotional and physical support.
Exactly. However, imagine having your C-section barely healed and being forced to go back to the office because your husband's like, you got to contribute to the bills now. I feel that is extremely unfair to women. So with the financial portion, Butters, get it out, babe. Butters is coughing, you guys. You can't hear that hairball. With the financial portion, in a 50-50 relationship, you're saying like 50-50 is pretty much contributing what you can to building a life together, which I agree to an extent. But like, a lot of people on the internet take the 50-50 thing to a very extreme, literal level, where I'm like, there is never going to be a world where it's 50-50. You could lose your job tomorrow. Would that person build you up? You could have cancer and you can't work. I mean, there's just a million things that could happen. And I think that on some levels, the internet has made this 50-50 mindset the most unhealthy thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, men, sorry guys, are out here actually thinking 50-50 is a literal thing that exists. And they're taking it to extremes with like starting with the first date, like splitting everything 100% down the center. And I see it in married people. By the way, guys, big disclaimer, Venmo being public so that everyone can see what you're doing. Are you okay?
Keep it on private. Mine's permanently on private. I don't want anyone knowing who I'm paying
100%.
And why.
I'm seeing
unhinged.
Dude, I'm seeing you guys pay for feet pics, okay? Like, it's fucking weird. But also, I'm seeing like people that I know are married, like Venmoing their husbands for parking and shit. Disgusting. I'm sorry. I can't fuck you if I'm Venmoing you.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Listen, when you're in a long-term relationship, it's a little bit different than early dating. I think early dating, if you want to be in a romantic relationship where the man is courting the woman, which I do think men still want to do and women still want to feel.
Yeah.
Then yes, the first, handful of dates that the guy's asking you on, he should be paying for. And I'd rather be asked on like a beautiful tea date, if that's what he can afford, than trying to take me somewhere nice and then asking me to split the bill. Like, that's just unacceptable.
Dude, so 50-50 in dating, I feel like is a scam for women. I'm just going to say it. In dating, different than marriage, 100%, because you're combining everything and hopefully at that point. In dating, 50-50 is nothing that a woman of value will subscribe to.
It takes the romance out of things. And I don't know, I still want to feel treated like a woman. I get dressed up. I'm excited. Going to meet someone. Like, I want to be treated. I especially think if you are inviting someone somewhere, that implies that you're treating them.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That being said, if I, wanted to, someone that I was early on in dating and I wanted to invite him somewhere, I would probably, I'd probably pay. at least some of it, and then maybe he'd pick up some drinks or something like that. But I think if you're getting invited somewhere, the person that's inviting you should pay.
Okay, I've said this before, and I totally agree with you on everything you just said. Guys, we're in alignment on this. Dating should be sexy for the straight hetero woman wants to feel romanced by a man. Like, but also, guys, I'm here to say, women that have a career, I'm not talking to like 21-year-olds right now. I'm talking to like millennials, because I see you guys. I see you men and women listening to the show. So you're in the age range. You guys, we are not out here using men to get dinners. Okay.
No.
We show up. This is $1,000 to enter the fucking room. Okay. Like the shoes, the watch, the hair, the skin, the makeup. I don't have time out here just because you want to take me to Avra. I'm not trying to use you for a dinner.
I agree. I think most women that I speak to on the matchmaking side that are even in their 20s, but certainly in their 30s, they actually don't prefer dinner dates because they don't want the pressure of someone spending a lot of money or being stuck 2-3 hours sometimes on a date you don't want to be on. They'd rather do a drink, something simple, just to do like a meet and greet.
Yes.
See if there's a vibe.
Yeah.
And then, from there, sure, dinners are great, but we actually don't want you doing that for us. And if a woman is insisting on a dinner date for a first date, then she probably wants to get dinner from you.
Yeah.
And you got to use your better judgment. That's on you, not the woman, not on us.
Men are out here dating hoes, okay? I'm just going to say it. I'm sorry that you went after a bad pattern of people, that you were chasing them just for one thing. You know what you wanted. You know what you wanted, men. You wanted the kitty. And you were chasing them for their looks, and that's it. You are not trying to get to know this person probably, and that is why they are using you as well.
Well, that's literally a transactional situation.
Exactly.
You're trying to, spend a lot of money on a dinner, a nice date, in hopes of going to bed after. So then, yes, that is a transactional situation. Most people are not dating in that realm.
No.
Most of us are looking for a partner and want something more serious. And that's why it's okay to build up to nicer dates, but you still have to treat. And there still has to be an element of romance, because you're not trying to find a business partner. You're not trying to find a new friend. You're trying to find like your spouse, the most special relationship you'll ever have in your life. And if you're starting it in a cheap or in a way that doesn't feel good to the woman, it's not going to work out.
Well, she already feels like you need her, number one. I feel like when you're doing that, you're showing the woman that you already need her for something. Like, you are not self-sufficient. Like, here's an example. I've had people invite me on vacations that were pre-planned, and they're like, I want you to join this. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not going to contribute to the hotel room you've already booked.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
The absolute fuck. I didn't choose this destination. I didn't choose anything about it. You're just inviting me to join. You're paying, sir.
I agree with that. I do think it's nice if you're like, hey, I'll get the Uber to the airport.
100%.
Or, something light. I think that's always kind to do. But yeah, I agree with you. If you're getting invited somewhere, the implication is that you're getting treated.
100%.
And then I've had multiple friends, and actually it's happened to me once too, where I went on a date with someone. And, he got a bottle of wine, and he got a second bottle of wine. I was like, this is way too much wine for me. I can't drink all this.
I hate that, by the
way. I warned him from the beginning that I had a dinner with a client afterwards. So he was like a happy hour kind of situation. And then at the end, he was definitely drunk because he drank a lot of wine. And he was like, you're leaving me to go on another date, which actually was true. But he thought it was a client dinner.
First of all,
either way,
it's not your business, babe.
Exactly. Either way, it didn't matter. But then he starts like messaging, because I never gave him my number. So on Raya, he was messaging me like, how was the dinner? Like, how's it going? And I was like, listen, I'm not really interested. He just got weird at the end of the day because he was kind of yelling at me. And then I got a Venmo request.
Oh my God. Stop.
I got a Venmo request.
Oh my God.
And not just one. I got two because I declined the first one. And he sent me a second one. He goes, come on, Anna, let's be adults here.
I'm like, guys, I'm speechless. Because what's so funny? I can't even believe I'm saying this is not the first time I've heard something like that. And I honestly am like, when I think the audacity couldn't get lower, it just surprises me still to this day.
I looked him up on Are We Dating the Same Guy on Facebook.
Stop.
And so there was already a thread about him of Venmo requesting women. And there were like 30 women that said the same thing. So I guess that's his thing when he doesn't get a second date.
Oh my gosh. You know what? He needs to listen to my last episode about second dates, guys. This is for the men too. I will say,
literally, could you imagine if men actually listened to this?
The ones that do, shout the fuck out, because you're the real one. Listening to women that you're trying to date
Rather
about.
than that like dating coach you follow online who was a nerd before he did a dating coach program and now
Yeah.
he's telling you to like
Yeah.
walk up to random women on the street and say hi.
By the way, guys, he's still a fucking loser. I know some of these people. Okay, so I will tell you a story actually about a trip that I was invited on in the beginning of my last relationship. Shout to, you know who you are.
The one that I met?
Did you meet him?
At my birthday?
No.
Oh, okay,
No, that's
different.
the good one.
Okay.
The lore is deep, guys. No, so this guy, we were dating for like 2 months and I had a horrifying thing happen at work and I was like going through it and I just made a joke. I was like, I need to get the fuck out of here. And he was like, I need to too. I'm going to plan a whole trip. I was like, bet, right? Plans a whole trip. He picked the hotel, he picked everything. And then he's like, book your flight. And I'm like, okay, right. I can book my flight, whatever.
Uh-oh.
Right?
That's the first red flag.
Oh, it is a red flag, babe, because he ended up being very generous as a person, I will say. But this trip was a lesson for him because somehow I got roped into a fucking 50-50 trip. Not joking, every single thing. Like, because I kept going to dinner thinking this man was going to pay for it. So I'm like, okay, and I'm not taking the whole fucking thing on. So I was like, we could split because he was picking some ridiculous places. And your girl makes money, but I did not mentally prepare to spend thousands of dollars. So I was like a little perturbed for the entire trip. And then when we got back to the city, he had a fucking meltdown in JFK about taking a cab back to the city and he wanted to take 2 trains. And it was like midnight. And I was like, I'll just get the fucking cab, right? So like, I'm not taking a train, babe. Like, are you really going to do this right now? And we got into the cab and he's like, and I'm like, so just so you're aware, I don't subscribe to fucking 50-50. And if you were thinking I'm that bitch, we shouldn't date. And he was like, and I was so chill and we had a good trip, but like, and I did enjoy him, but I was like, I'm going to make it known that I'm not that girl right here and right fucking now. And he was like surprised. And then I kind of also said something later where I was like, just so you know, that'll like never happen again if you dictate a trip to me ever. And this man turned it around. He became the most generous human being ever, which by the way, guys, makes women want to shower you with money when you're generous.
There's nothing less sexy than splitting the bill after dinner and then going to your hotel room.
I don't want to fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we're not making love, sir. I don't want anything to do with you. I'm going to take a bath by myself and go to bed. But yeah, it's just not sexy when you have to pay, But that being said, like if you have, like I planned a dinner for us, I'm so excited and you paid for it, that's a different thing. If you go into that with the intention of paying, but being like sitting there awkwardly with the check sitting on the table, no one's touching it. I don't like, I've always said I never want to feel awkward when the check comes.
Exactly.
That's just like my number one rule. I do not want to feel awkward. And if you ever make me feel awkward with a check, then that's it. It's just not going to work. And yeah.
Yeah. No, like guys, there is a 5-second rule with a check, okay? Treat it like a bomb. It has 5 minutes, it has 5 seconds to detonate. They put the check down, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. You're not hitting that thing with your eyes, picking it up, looking at it, scanning it immediately. I think you can't afford dinner. I'm worried I'm out with a bum. If you leave it on the table, by the way, I will play the waiting game with you.
Like I said, I'd rather go to something less expensive and not have to worry about the check than you inviting me somewhere and I feel like I'm on the hook now for half of this meal that I ate maybe, a quarter of.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to need the women out there to rise up because I've heard this story so many times from women and they're like, I felt so uncomfortable. I just paid the check. Put your hand down. Yeah. Because I will sit there and we will go to jail for skipping out on the bill with me. Anna, I'm dead serious. You take me out on a fucking second date. This is when you're supposed to be seducing me, by the way. Mm-hmm. And you let the check sit there for 20 minutes. We're going to jail. I'm not paying for it.
I know, because it's in the moment you're like, I just want to get out of there. So you just want to put your card down and be done with it.
Yeah.
But I do think like maybe there are guys out there that's their scheme.
It is.
And they're trying to get dinners from women by just, I totally went out with a scammer once and he's
Is this the Tindler Swindler guy?
Yeah. And he, it was kind of more on a friendly basis, but he was like, oh, I got robbed on the subway and I can't, and he was like, I'm at the bar downstairs from your building. Can you pay for this? Because I don't have my wallet. And I was just thinking, oh, okay, yeah. It was just so awkward. But looking back, That was the oldest scam in the book. Getting robbed in the subway.
Dude, I had a guy do that to me. We went on a lunch date and he picked the place and it was like an egregious place. You know, Midtown lunches are just not $20, guys. And at the end of the meal, I don't have my wallet. And I smiled at him and he was like, I had such a good time with you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like smiling. Like, I literally looked at this man like, I am going to fuck you. You're my husband. And I ghosted him so hard. He didn't know what the hell hit him.
Well, who paid for it?
Obviously, I had to. And by the way, I was 24, guys. Lesson learned. Now I'm going to be like, oh my God, I forgot mine too. I guess we're going to jail.
I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll see you in a minute and just leave.
I will literally leave that man there now. Like, you guys.
That's what people should do. If a guy does this to you, just get up and leave.
Literally. Like, that is so fucking tired and lame and unsexy. And you're trying to test me, babe. And you test the wrong one.
You can tap with your phone.
Oh, yeah, you can tap with your... I've had girls... Guys, this has to be addressed. I've gone out with girlfriends that are the takers from men, right? It's okay to do that on a date with a man.
You cannot do that to your friend.
Do not fucking do that to me.
I have friends like that too.
Well, first of all, they're not my friends anymore.
Me neither. Well, they're like, oh, we should grab dinner soon. I'm like, no, we should not.
Oh my God, I don't even reply to that text. I am the heaviest ghoster of shitty friends. I will ghost a shitty man. I will ghost a shitty friend. Like, you'll just never hear from me again. People think I died.
No, honestly, I love that because I think so many people let relationships linger that do not serve them. And it's hard to break up with a friend. I think almost harder than to break up with a relationship.
Oh my God, I had like an absolute crash out earlier, actually. Guys, this is a little aside. I ended up doing a series for Vanity Fair and it came out. It surprised me yesterday. Somebody randomly sent it to me. Vanity Fair.
That's huge.
Is like, it's first of all, it's owned by Condé Nast, which owns Vogue. It's on the same fucking floor as Vogue. And do you know how many people congratulated me that saw it?
I didn't see it, but congratulations. That's amazing.
I literally put it in my close friends thing and only one of my friends said something. And I was sitting over here like, okay, surveillance team. It is. You're not my friends. You're my surveillance team now.
Was it in the actual magazine?
No, it's a series. It was a series. It was like they did a 30-minute long interview with me.
Oh, it's like video. Oh, that's so cool.
On their YouTube. Wow. Super fucking cool.
About this podcast or
no, it was about famous wedding moments in like movies. So they had me like say it was fun. But I digress.
I'm gonna watch it when I get home.
Girl, if friends are not out here supporting your highs, they're not your friends.
I like every single one of your posts that I see.
Girl, every single one of your posts. When I saw the Patty Stanger thing, I was like, we're going to talk about it today.
I love that.
Literally, like, I'm out here like, I want everyone to win.
He looks like he's about to launch this way.
Yeah, Butters wants to go to Anna, guys. He's just really having a moment. Anyways, okay, so 50-50 in dating, we're aligned, where we want the men to be men.
Yeah, I think in the beginning, he should be asking you for your time and to plan things for you. But I will say my husband told me early on in dating that he also wants to see a woman make effort and plan some things. He doesn't want to be the only one initiating. He also wants to feel like he's getting courted a little bit too.
Yeah, 1,000%. That's fine.
And you know what? At first, I was kind of turned off by that, thinking like, no, a man has to do everything. But then I thought about it. Well, it's his relationship too. Like, why would I not want to treat him? Like, I like him. I want him to feel special.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm still learning how to do that now, even as we're married as a wife, because I am so in my world every day. With my business. I have clients that I work with. Like, I'm in their world. Yeah. And so I think sometimes he feels a little neglected. And so I have a new thing that I'm doing. Fridays, I blocked my calendars in the afternoon so I can actually have time to prepare a Shabbat dinner for him.
Oh my gosh, love this.
And that's just something that would mean so much to him if I do that. Like, he's the happiest person on the planet. And I just need to like prioritize that. And that's me, contributing to our relationship because I do feel like time-wise, sometimes he gives more than 50.
Well, girl, we're going to get into it because first of all, I love that you're Charlotte York making Shabbat for your man. That is so cute and sweet, and I'm obsessed and I need to come over.
I'm not going as hard as she did, but I'm doing my best.
I love a Shabbat. I'm like basically in the tribe.
I know.
But no, like I think I agree because 50-50 in a relationship is not just with money. It is the same as in a marriage where it's like, okay, so also I'm aware when the man is courting me and spending tons of money on me, I am over here supporting him. Like, I am not just taking. By the way, that is the most unsexy mentality to men and women.
Totally.
Being a fucking taker. I will take your money, but I'm not going to take your time. I'm going to support you emotionally. I'm going to plan dates.
So you are contributing
Of course.
to your side of the 50.
Of course.
Even if it's not necessarily as much financially, which like I said, I think it's okay. Like if someone's making a lot more money, they should be contributing more.
100%.
Especially in a marriage. But in early dating, it's, it's not fair for him to say, I want to go to a Knicks game tonight and you have to pay for your own ticket when you can't afford it. Like that would be crazy.
But also like if I'm the one suggesting the Knicks game, like I know there's a world where I'm paying for it. You know what I mean? So like if I'm the one planning all the dates and I'm expected to pay for all of them, I just will date myself then.
If I'm paying for it, I've always said this, if I'm on a date and I'm with someone and he, then springs it on me that I have to pay for my half, I'm thinking I would have way rather been here with a girlfriend than you.
100%.
Like, why did I spend these 2 hours with you that I never want to see again when I could have been with a friend and pay the same amount of money?
I literally sent that voice note to my girlfriend today because I missed her when she was in the city last time because I was going on a date with a man I literally never wanted to see again during that date. And I was like so apologetic. I was like, I can't believe the last time you were here, I blew you off to see some bum man who said the wildest shit to me on that date, Anna. He did not know anything about female biology.
Okay.
Can I say this? I'm going to just tell you this story.
Okay, I'm dying to know.
He was a 2-beer queer, so he got very drunk. And I was like, are you good, sir? Because he's much bigger than me. And he proceeded to ask me, we were not talking about anything sexual. I hate when men do this early on.
Oh, I can't stand that.
Do not immediately go sexual with me randomly out of thin air. And he asked me if, oh my God, this is so crass, if when women squirt, their eggs come out. I can't even say that with a straight face.
I've never heard that before.
I died. I laughed and he was dead-faced. He's like, is that not real? I'm like, babe, I'm going to need you to go back to 5th grade health.
I'm speechless because I've never heard that before. I think that's absolutely crazy. But also the fact that he thought that was appropriate to say to anyone, let alone someone he's on a first date with.
Yeah.
I cannot stand anything sexual when we're like on an app if you've matched with someone and they, try to like say, oh, you're a naughty girl. And it's like, once they, open up the door, you'll never be able to close it.
Yeah.
And then on the date, if they're just making all these hints about you going home with that, they only want one thing.
This was our second date, so I was completely shocked. Obviously, it was completely separate behavior from a first date, right? Totally different person
second date's
showed
still
up.
Too soon.
It was just like I'm sitting there and I started to laugh because, and I did the laugh, girls, where I was like, this man will never see me naked. Like I couldn't believe that he thought that. It was almost unattractive that he didn't know anything about women and female reproduction at all. And maybe this is my husband. Like, can you imagine? But I blew off my friend to go on this date, which I usually would never do but it was pre-planned. So I was like, I already committed. But I would have much rather.
I know. There's nothing worse than when you're on a date and you're like, I really could have been spending my time better. I mean, there was even times when I was dating, like my sister gave birth and I was on a date in the same city and I wasn't there.
Oh my God, did you know?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know the exact timing of it.
Yeah.
And I was like within like 45 minutes away and I should have left the guy and went to be with my family, but I didn't. And I really regret that because I'm obviously not with that guy anymore. But I was thinking, oh, this is going to be my future husband. I need to prioritize him.
100%. So, okay, 50-50 in a relationship is a scheme and the women should not subscribe to it. It really can only kind of apply, I think, in a marriage. I think we're aligned on that.
Yeah.
And so financially in the beginning of the relationship, especially the men should really just be men. We want to return to sexiness.
Keep it in your budget.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like I actually.
That's a perfect thing to say.
Yeah, just keep it. Like I don't need a guy going broke to go. And I actually had that. I was dating someone like 4 or 5 years ago. And, he was a lawyer. He seemed like he made good money, but he was definitely a big spender. He was so flashy. He'd buy drinks for me, for my friends. He'd pay for dinner for everyone. He was just like one of those guys. And in a way, like that's really attractive. Like, oh, he's so generous. He must have so much to give. But then he finally sat me down and told me he spent every single dollar he earned and had nothing saved and that he has no money. I was like, oh, I would have rather him not do all of that.
Yeah.
And because at the end of the day, it's not about how much a guy earns. It's about how much he saves and how responsible he is with his money. And that's really what's sexy.
That's how you build a life.
Because I think we're so caught up with that flashy guy who's this members club and buys this bottle and goes to Aspen and Ibiza and da-da-da. But really, you don't know. He could be taking out loans to keep up with friends.
Stop.
And I've had an ex that took out a loan to keep up with friends in the Hamptons one year. You just really don't know someone's financial situation just because they appear to be wealthy. It doesn't mean they really are.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of bums out here pretending and living above their means. It's New York. It's the sister to Miami. Okay? It's Northeast. And we're still on the east side with Miami. So, you know, they're related.
Totally.
But I will say I almost got married to somebody who was living like that. And I didn't realize until after we were engaged. And he, all of a sudden he started to get really upset because I found out overspent on the ring, overspent on all of our dinners, and every single month was not saving to cut down his debt, which I found out about basically right before we got engaged. So I was sitting here like, you got to get the debt down. I can't marry you with this. And he was like, well, I just don't want to change the way I live my life. And I was like, this is not a marriage make, okay? Because what the fuck?
Absolutely not. I mean, when you marry someone, you really marry all of their mistakes, everything that they've, accomplished to that moment, and then everything that they could do in the future that's you're going to be liable for. Yeah. So you want someone that already has good financial skills.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's what made me feel more comfortable being in a 50-50 marriage, knowing that he's very financially responsible. Okay. And since we've been together, my business has grown. Every year has doubled. Really? And I really think it's because I'm in a stable relationship. So like that stress of dating and stuff has been taken off me, which has been nice. But also he's such a support and he wants me to succeed. And he really gives me the space to grow and do all the things I need to do. Like he would never hold me back from any opportunity. Yeah. And there's definitely guys that are not comfortable dating a matchmaker who talks to single guys all day long.
Whatever. Get the fuck over it.
Like a lot of men would not be comfortable with that.
Did you guys do a prenup?
We did. Yes. Okay. We weren't planning on it, but it just so happened that a month, or not even a month, maybe 2 weeks before we got engaged, I was on a podcast called Hello Prenup.
Love that.
And Julia, who hosts the podcast, she asked me, she's like, do you believe in prenups? I said, absolutely. She's like, well, you're in a relationship. Would you have one? I said, honestly, I haven't really thought about it.
Gosh.
But because I don't own any assets. And, he doesn't own any, real estate either. So I was like, oh, we're going into it even. She's like, well, no. Like you still get a prenup from the state. So you want to make sure, if he has any debt or if he has some like big accounts with lots of money somewhere, like you just need to know what you're coming into it with and how he sees the future playing out. And I'm so glad that we went through the process. Yeah. You don't necessarily need to get lawyers involved.
That's interesting. Yeah. But you know what? The one thing I like about a prenup is that everybody has to disclose all of their finances, which means ain't nobody out here with secret accounts. You have to disclose everything legally. And that is very interesting, I think.
Yeah. I honestly felt like I got to know him so much better after seeing all of that. And we talked about things of what happens when one of us dies, who's going to be the beneficiary. Yeah. And, just understanding where we stood on things, I think it made us a lot closer. And it just made me feel more comfortable financially in the relationship. I mean, after reading Strangers, how did this woman not have any idea the finances in her marriage? And she didn't know he was making millions of dollars and squirreling it away while she was paying for their homes. And she thought she was in a relationship where he was the provider, but really it was her.
This is what I'm saying. So this is, all right, now we're going to get into the 50-50 marriage thing because I financially find it to be extremely unfair to women. In a sense where, okay, if you're joining into a marriage, right, and you guys are maybe at the same level, maybe you start off and you're like kind of making the same, then I'm like, okay, maybe it makes sense in the beginning. You're building a life together. Maybe you want to jointly have an account. By the way, I'm a big proponent of having at least one joint account. And you can keep whatever you want separate, but you should have a joint account so you're not having to Venmo your husband for parking.
Totally agree.
But if you want to go buy a Chanel and you can afford it, go off, queen. But I do think anything bigger than $10,000 should be discussed in a marriage. I'm sorry. I heard a story the other day where a man just bought a $70,000 watch, and I found out from another guy, and he's like, well, he didn't need to tell his wife. I'm like, I feel like I would want to know if my man is buying a fucking car for his wrist.
Yeah.
If we have the money for that, go off king. But like, I think I would at least want to know.
Yeah, I would definitely want to know. And I think part of being in a marriage that's more 50-50 is you'd have those conversations. He wouldn't do something like that. But if he's controlling all the money,
so this is my problem with 50-50. What I've heard from men, because guys, I only hear from straight men that I date about this. I mean, the women are out here and I know their journeys. But I've heard from men where it's like, no, it's going to be 50-50 in what we contribute jointly to the house, but I can do whatever the fuck I want with my money over here.
Oh, wow.
And I think that is super fucked up.
That's not 50-50.
That's not 50-50. And that's what people think.
You have to really think of yourselves as a unit and like, what are we doing with this money together? And I would be livid if like right now we're hoping to have a baby soon. And if he was spending large sums of money like on watches or something like that while we're hopefully going to have a child soon, I would be livid.
Yeah, I mean,
this is going to their future school. Like, this is tuition money.
Here's my thing about 50-50 marriage. If you really truly want to be in a 50-50 marriage, then you have to combine all your finances. Every single fucking cent. Because that's the only time. Fairness, the big thing with 50-50 is everybody wants it to be fair. Okay, that's fair. Let's see everything. Open your books.
Yeah, that's a good point because I could see people thinking that they can do whatever they want with their money and not, really having to disclose that or ask permission at least.
Yeah.
But no, I want to know about I would never spend thousands of dollars on something and not tell my husband. But there are times I spend smaller amounts. I'm scared to tell him.
Yeah.
Well, like I don't have to judge me that I bought another pair of shoes.
Yeah. You don't need to know the Botox budget. You need to know how often we get our nails done or our hair, whatever. That goes into why you married us, because we look nice, right?
Luckily, he has a mother who like really likes to keep herself like beautiful and hair and nails. So he kind of knows.
Yeah.
This is just part of women.
That's just an expense. That's not even like a luxury.
Yeah.
But no, I this is my thing. It's like if it's going to truly be this, I'm using air quotes, 50-50, it needs to be extremely transparent. It's like having a non-monogamous relationship. Now we have to talk about everything and we've got to really be in sync on everything, right? Where if you're in a polyamorous relationship, the only ones that work are the ones that are communicative as fuck, where you have rules and game plans and you follow. Same thing with a 50-50. I'm sorry. Like, that's how I feel. I'm like, that's why for me, it removes the romance a little bit. Like, we should contribute what we can contribute, but I don't want to be held at gunpoint every month. Like, is your half of the rent?
Yeah, no, seriously, you're right. I had a friend when she was 6 months pregnant. She was, going to dinner with her husband and he asked her to split the bill for dinner. And I could not believe it because he's a, high earner and she does well too. But like, yeah, she quickly found out that he was expecting a 50-50. And I think that's wrong.
Wait, at 6 months pregnant and they're already married.
This was before they got married.
Okay.
Their first, yeah. And when she told me that, I just couldn't believe it. I really hope my husband, when I'm pregnant, and if we go to like a nice dinner and I'm 6 months pregnant, he is not stick me with the bill.
So this is a great reason why I'm also like not a proponent of 50-50 because first of all, I find it extremely hard to keep track, right? It just should be, we feel good in the relationship. We got to stop overthinking everything, right? But if I'm pregnant and we're out to dinner, I barely got my shoes on these feet, right? I'm hanging on by a fucking thread. I don't fit into any of my clothes. I'm not feeling like myself. And now you're going to ask me to put my credit card down.
Yeah.
Actually, you just bought a dowry. It's called my fucking uterus.
You know what? Maybe I don't like 50-50 marriages. Maybe but I don't know if I'm in a 50-50 marriage by your definition then because we do split rent and utilities and things. But if he invites me somewhere, he pays. If I invite him somewhere, I pay. And his stuff is usually more expensive than because he likes fish concerts and Knicks games and things. And I'm going to like Shabbat dinners. But so maybe, I don't know. That's kind of how we figured it out. So it's not exactly to the dollar. We don't necessarily keep track. I mean, there were trips where he was like, okay, like I paid for this. Like this was a lot. And I'm like, oh, what do you mean? It was like equal. And then he would show me the numbers and I realized like, okay, I guess he did pay a lot more. So I try to be more, thoughtful about that. But we don't do that. Like that was early on in the vacations where he was kind of tracking things. We don't really do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because we've kind of just learned a groove to I pay this time, you pay that time. And that just kind of worked. But like if I get a big payday and I'm feeling generous, I want to treat him.
Dude, New York is the city of the spreadsheet man. Okay, I
He's
get
such
it.
a spreadsheet guy.
Oh my
It's so
God.
funny.
Look, I am with the spreadsheet king and I'm just like, I don't subscribe. Girl math, like, I don't know what you're talking about. It rounds out even, whatever. But I don't believe in living life to like be held to these extreme standards. Like, I really don't. I think at a certain point, it really removes the romance. We can be very pragmatic about money and we can be smart about it in a marriage and we can contribute what we can contribute. And I do think if you're going to have a situation where you want the other person to contribute, I'm sorry, a ratio should come into play where this person makes X amount, this person makes 2X less. That means they're contributing 2X less. That is the standard if you want a 50-50. It should be on par with what they're making. And I've had this conversation with partners that literally were like, no, we're going to do the exact same dollar amount. I'm like, bitch, no.
Yeah, I think that's
absolutely
a scam.
not. That's a fucking scam.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that is a really good way for the women to end up broke.
100%. And that's why I think a lot of people are out here and I see a lot of like heavy male influencers subscribing to this 50-50. My wife held me down when I had like, shut up, because we all know that she is probably the force behind the scenes why you even got successful. And are you treating her like a queen now because she held you down? Probably not. You're probably still taking her to dinner, asking her to pay her 50%. And I'm sorry. I don't want to fuck you if I feel like you have a debit in your head of every single thing I'm running up. Because at some point, I had this conversation with a current partner and he was like, what if you became like Alex Cooper level successful? Would you still want me to go out and work? Because like I couldn't even earn anywhere near what she's making. And I was like, I love that you think I can be that successful. Like it will happen, guys.
That's cute.
But I would still want my man to contribute and work.
Okay, that's a good question. So if the woman earns more, which women are out earning men and they're graduating college more and all of that. So if the woman's earning more, does a man contribute less but equal to, you know, what his salary is compared to hers?
Okay, so I actually had this conversation with a woman I know who's a managing director at a bank. And if you guys don't know, they make a shit ton of money. And she is like, I'm very aware that I'll probably always be the breadwinner in a scenario. And I was like, how does that make you feel? And she was like, well, I'm just aware of the fact that I'll be the breadwinner. And I'm okay with my husband being home with the kids and not working. And I was like, oh my God, I said this to my partner and he was like, what the fuck? I was like, I wouldn't be able to fuck you. Like, if you're my nanny and I'm out having headaches all the time and dealing with all this stuff and you're just like sitting at home having like a fun time with the kids where I'm missing out on every fucking milestone because I'm the one that has to hold it down, I would be so resentful.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can go both ways, but the relationship with a woman and their child is different than a man with a child. But I honestly wouldn't mind if my husband wanted to stay home and raise our child. And I work from home too. So it's not like I go to the office, and if he wanted to take a step back from his business and be more of the caregiver, I'd rather him take care of our child than a nanny. Yeah. So I guess, you know, for that being said, you're right. I'd be a little bit jealous if I was missing some of the milestones.
You're missing every milestone because you're in meetings and you're in India for work and all this stuff. And your man is just like, oh my God, like they said dada. Like, I mean, that's like fucking upsetting. It's not that we should both miss that moment, but like, I just think it would be extremely hard for me to be with somebody who's just watching me take care of everything. Because like, to be clear, as women, and there are a lot of women out there that aren't like this, but there's a lot that are, emotionally, we're usually the ones regulating things.
Yeah.
And the load does usually land on us. And I would just feel resentful if I was doing everything. So if you're going to be in a 50-50 relationship, that person needs to be holding you the fuck down emotionally.
Yeah. If they're going to be the one staying home, they really need to manage the household and be the one that's in charge of all of that. But I do feel like women still are better at that kind of thing. Like they're going to know this kid gets this medicine at this time and this kid has this soccer practice at they just have that all kind of memorized. I think they can do that better than men for some reason. Like Zach asked me every day where his phone is. He's like, where's the ketchup? I'm like, the same place it is every day in the door of the fridge. I don't know. I think women are just kind of better at multitasking and figuring things out. I don't know. But yeah, Yeah, I guess that's a good question because women are out earning men.
Yeah.
But I think there is a happy medium where if you're earning like $500,000 a year and he's making $300,000 a year,
yeah.
he's not really that far beneath you.
Yeah.
He's still, he's still
plebeian.
He's still contributing.
Yeah.
And it's a good contribution. Together, it's a good life. He doesn't mean he's necessarily staying home and raising kids, but he is contributing.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, would you have less respect for him?
No, but what I'm saying is like, I think a lot of people are out here really completely just like misinformed about what actually would go into a 50-50. Because if that's the case, right? If you earn a little bit less than me and we're in a 50-50, we're basically keeping track. And that is the thing that I think is extremely toxic. Like, okay, you spent 3 hours with the kids today and I spent 2 hours. And so like, I guess I have to do another hour, but I'm tired because I worked. It's like, it just becomes extremely toxic, I think. And it just needs to be a situation where we have each other's backs. Okay. So like if I'm making 200 grand more than you and you had a bad year at work and that's why, okay, fine, fuck it. I'll hold you, you're my man. If we don't want to change our standard of living, then fine. But I expect you to do better. I expect you to have ambition and to pull it together and to rise up.
Stats show that men do earn more money when they're married. So I even 100%. See it with my husband. Like I see him hustling more. Like because we're hopefully have a child soon. I see him wanting to earn more and to do more. Like he definitely. I don't know if I'm motivating him a little bit, but I do think there is not a pressure, but there is an expectation on men a bit. Whether or not they're in a 50-50 relationship, I think all men feel like they need to be more of a provider.
Yeah.
In a sense. And I'm here for it.
The guys that want a 50-50 marriage are the same men that don't want a divorce because they don't want to give away half their money. And I find that to be extremely hilarious. Like you want a 50-50 marriage, but then you cheat on the girl and now she's out here like, all right, give me 50%. And you're like, that's so unfair. Like, bro, what the fuck? I've definitely seen and heard that from a lot of people that are doing the most or the least in their relationship. And I'm just like, that's funny because you had no problem with it until it went tits up.
Okay, so what about the other scenario where the man is a high earner? He wants you to stay at home. He doesn't want you to work.
Okay.
He's going to take care of everything.
Okay.
But you don't know what's going on in the finances. You don't really have control over where, you're living in his home.
Okay. Love this. Give me the scenario, girl.
Okay, so you like that. See, I would feel so uncomfortable.
No. I didn't say I love it. I just love that you're giving me the scenario.
And you're, kind of living his life.
Yeah.
And you're there to, take care of the kids. There could be nannies involved as well, and you're just kind of there.
Yes. Okay.
And you landed here, and it's like, okay, what do I do now?
So I have strong opinions about this because this is why every single woman that enters the show, The Real Housewives, ends up divorced after their season because they were in these scenarios where they were completely taken care of, and then all of a sudden they started to break free of that mold and make a different life for everyone, and the man gets so fucking upset about it because they feel emasculated. So in this scenario, right, if I'm with somebody who's making a ton of money and they're like, I really want you to stay home with the kids, I would be like, okay, I will stay home for a moment. I'm not going to walk away from my career. Anyone who knows me knows I'm so fucking ambitious. I'm always going to be doing something. So not having the burden of having to be the breadwinner would be stellar because it is something where I do cry on my floor occasionally, guys. Hashtag entrepreneur life.
Yeah.
But to have some stability would feel very nice. Now, if you're telling me you're locked in a tower and you can't leave, fuck you. Like, you need to be okay with that person having some autonomy, okay? You want to control that person with money. That's not a partnership. So that's in the other direction of a 50-50. That's super fucking toxic where you're just like, and you have rules and you got to ask daddy for money. And if you want to take the kids out for an hour, you are not allowed to get any nanny because you are the fucking nanny. Like, no.
Yeah, I've seen scenarios like that too. And
Me too.
With doing what I do. And usually women that come from those very wealthy marriages, there was a lot of emotional abuse and sometimes even physical. And, I think a lot of women fantasize what it's like to be with this man that's super wealthy, he takes care of everything. But there is a dark side to that too. And there are trade-offs where maybe he doesn't want you to have a social media. Because he doesn't want his life public.
Oh.
So that's gone.
Girl, say less. I dated a guy once that thought it was appropriate to treat me the way he wanted, which was maybe sometimes not the greatest. And then, oh, I bought you a Chanel bag, so you're not allowed to be mad at me. And I'm like, no. And like, it's so funny because I was super young and I was so in love with him, but I was like, no. So this is nice. Thank you. And I like put it over here. And I was like, anyways, we're going to talk about you being a piece of shit on my birthday. And this doesn't actually make up for that. So, and he was so thrown off. Like, I got you this nice thing. I'm like, doesn't mean fuck all.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of men use money as control and power over women. And that's why I don't want women to ever be in that situation. So I really encourage women to have something for themselves, to be financially independent. And while, yes, like we all want to be with a man that can take care of us. Of course I want that too, but I never wanted to be dependent on that. And if, God forbid, I got divorced, I know I'd be okay. Yeah. Like financially, I know I wouldn't be in ruins. And I could have we're not so codependent that I cannot survive without him because I would lose where I live, all my money. I just don't ever want to be in that situation. So there's got to be a happy medium here.
No, I agree. So here's my thing. I think that women and men should always build their life without that person, right? I think you should come together and have your shit together. And if one person has way more money, cool. You should come into it with something too. You should not be completely fucking destitute and spending all your money on Chanel's to live above your means and you have no 401k, no investments. That's toxic. You're going to get absolutely wiped through the freaking coals. The second he gets a better model, babe, you're going to be out on the street, okay? So like, don't think that's a good way to be. But I also don't subscribe to the parking meter said it's $10, so give me Venmo for $5. Like,
that's insane.
Both scenarios are very fucking toxic to me.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I love Melissa Wood Health. I can't help. I have to call her by the full name.
Melissa Wood Health. I think everyone thinks that's her name at this point because it really is.
But she could have just been married to someone wealthy, and she was
for a while.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't have to build anything, right? And I think now, like, she probably is making pretty good money at this point, and can she could easily leave the marriage if she wanted to be financially dependent. And not that she's going to, but I think it's a good example for women to see, like, yes, you could be married to someone that makes more money, but build something for yourself and be with someone who will not only allow that, but support that.
I mean, we never know the inner workings of people's relationships. He could be resentful because it wasn't the dynamic when they started out.
Maybe.
Homegirl was a bottle girl, and she got accidentally knocked up.
Great. Oh, I didn't know that.
They got married after they had the baby.
I do remember that. But they were together for like 8 years by that point.
I don't know people's shit, but I just know that. But like, we never know. So who knows the dynamic? But I agree. I like that she built something and he seems to be supportive. And that is the mindset that you should have. If you marry somebody who had nothing and then they get stuff, you're both winning. I don't understand the people that get resentful to that because, power couple. But don't expect me and require me to hold you down financially and be a power couple when that's going to put exponentially more pressure on the woman who already has to, by the way, carry the fucking load of giving kids.
No, you're right. I can't imagine feeling stressed after having a newborn that I need to get a new client because we can't afford Pampers next month. Like, I don't want to be in that situation. But I also think that takes financial planning as a couple to make sure you won't get in that situation. But you said something else that was really interesting. I think that when you meet someone, and they should be honest with you of their expectations of a relationship, but you should also believe them when they say they don't want to be with a woman who's going to have a career.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you try to change that later on, there is going to be resentment and, you're not going to be the wife that they thought they had, and it could cause a lot of problems. So when you meet someone, like, really ask them what they see for their future, what they're comfortable with, talk about different scenarios, because you don't want to be with a man who is going to not support your dreams.
Honestly, guys, like, this is something to discuss after you either get exclusive or like when you're at that point where you feel like you want to be exclusive. This is not like first or second date. You should not know their 401k and their income, but like, you should be on the same page. You know how many fucking people I have married that I feel like have never talked about finances? Like, you should not even enter into a serious relationship with someone if you don't know where they stand financially on these topics.
Can you tell if a couple is going to get divorced when you
1,000 fucking percent
to their wedding?
I'm dead serious. 1,000%. Although I've had a few surprises, so really? I'm not always right, which I can't believe I'm saying.
What are some tells that you usually can tell?
I can always tell how they handle finances.
Really?
Immediately. Yeah. When one person is cool with spending and the other person is feeling anxiety about it, and they seem to be completely misaligned on that,
It's a good point.
I'm like, oh, problem.
Yeah, because they clearly have different expectations around money and they maybe haven't had some of those conversations.
I've had so many people accidentally like mention prenups in calls with me. Like I had a couple, they're getting married in a second, guys, in literally a second. And I meet the groom and he's like, we got to get the prenup sorted. And she's like, oh, we don't need that. And he's like, there will be no wedding without it. And I'm like, oh,
Wow.
why am I on this chat right now? Beam me up.
You know what? When couples bicker like that in front of like strangers, basically, not, like that is such a sign that there's trouble in paradise if they feel comfortable.
Oh my God,
doing
so
that.
uncomfortable.
I have had friends that do that too. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, this is not going to end well.
I am so happy that you came and did this with me because
That's
I feel like
said.
we like ended on the same note. We're like, you made me come around on some 50-50 things.
Yeah. No, you kind of opened my eyes on some things too.
Oh my gosh, she's going to go home.
I'm going to go home, make some new content.
I'm so happy to have you, Anna. Tell everyone where everyone can find you. What do you want to promote? Just go crazy.
Okay. Well, my website, annamorgenstern.com, you can find out my different services when it comes to matchmaking, coaching, different boot camps and stuff that I do. My Instagram, Anna Morgenstern. I have lots of content, lots of fun things for you there. And you can always DM me with questions. I'll answer. But if you want more than that, you're going to have to pay.
Yes, we love a DM, guys. And thank you for joining. And don't forget to subscribe on the YouTube, guys, and tell your friends, tell your enemies. Bye, guys.